Virus 13, Chapter 16. James woke up with a splintering headache. Rolling to his side, he noticed his sheets and pillows on Linda's side of the bed were undisturbed. The previous night he had waited in his office till the DNA sequence to the finish. When he sat down at his computer and read the results, James realized that everything was true. He was not cancer-proof. Dizzy with disbelief, he had read the results over and over. He couldn't explain it. But he, Molly, and Pat were all missing the same set of life-saving genes. In the bathroom, he scooped out a couple of pills and gulped them down. His reflection was pretty frightening. His half-shaven head had a new white band-aid slapped on the side of it. He got dressed in the closet, slipping on a pair of gym shorts and a t-shirt. Silently making sure not to wake the kids, he made his way to the front door and slid out into the dawn. The sun was beginning to edge itself over the horizon, its colors spilling across the sky. James marched down the sidewalk, heading directly for Aunt Rose's house. When he reached her street, he was disappointed to see that the windows of her house were all pitch black. Probably still sleeping, he thought, but this was serious, so he didn't mind if he had to wake her up. He rang the doorbell twice. The chime reverberated on the other side of the door. Then he waited, but no one came. He rang the doorbell twice more. After a few minutes, he sighed and stamped around to a large window on the front of the house. When he peered in, all he could see was stacks upon stacks of junk. He circled the house. Each window he came to was just another angle into the hoarder's soul. However, Aunt Rose was nowhere to be seen. Cursing under his breath, James read the time on his watch. He had to get the kids up. With Linda at work, he would be stuck with the difficult task of getting both children ready for school. Waking them up, feeding them, and making sure they got out the front door before 8 o'clock a.m. would be as arduous as herding cats, and James was no cat wrangler. 2 hours later, to James' great relief, he had successfully sent his children on their way to school. Hoping to catch Aunt Rose in her lab, James got ready to head to work. Freshly shaven and dressed sharply in a business shirt and slacks, James felt like a new man. According to Dr. Parody, he wasn't supposed to go back to work today, so he was hoping to slip in and slip out without anyone noticing him. Plus, he had one more experiment to run. Anxiously, he fingered an envelope in his pocket. He just hoped the results would be in his favor. Excuse me. I can't believe they're making us drive our asses all the way out here, Max said, almost growling. At least we're out of the city. Less deadly viruses out here, replied Malloy. The sun was peaking above the horizon as the two angels drove west. It was already 90 degrees, the morning was steamy, and the cloud covered thick. Malloy eyed the sky suspiciously. We should have left way earlier than this. Yeah, I know. I had to drive my kids to school. The wife wasn't feeling too well. Malloy raised an eyebrow. Sick? No, not any flu symptoms, thank goodness. She just woke up with fluids coming out both ends. If you catch my drift, probably food poisoning. We had some kilo potato salad last night. Morning sickness, maybe? Oh, I don't know. 2 kids are enough. And to further refute your accusation, since it has obviously made me anxious, this wasn't an old morning sickness vomit. It was projectile. Everyone get the hell out of the way kind of vomit. She'd be alright though. The road west was green and winding. The heavy odor of grass and pollen spilled in through the windows, reminding Malloy of childhood and summer memories that usually remained dormant. As they got further away from the city, civilization was slowly consumed by slopping hills and vegetation. As a boy, Malloy's father used to take him out on the lake nearby. It would be just the two of them sitting in their small boat, fishing until the morning sun became too brutal to withstand. Malloy couldn't remember the last time he had gone fishing. A pity and a shame, he thought. The demands of his job kept any notions of a woodland escape a distant thought. He enjoyed the idea of buying a fishing pole, getting a boat, and living a quiet life out here. Eventually, they reached their first destination. Manoy steered the car down a gravel road over Lake Travis Herefordshire. The white dunes appeared like giant golf balls that had been evidently hit into the rough of the tree line. The car slid to a stop and the two climbed out. A strong breeze brought along the smell of rain. Manoy frowned and looked at Nat. "We've got to make this quick. It looks like this storm is getting closer than we would like." Mac nodded in mute agreement. James looked up at the tiny tip of the pyramid towering above him. Each side of the pyramid consisted of a triangular wall of glass, allowing the building to be permeated by natural light. The only place in the building where the sun could not reach was underground in high-security areas, where Linda would be working right now. She was beneath the earth in a tube of the Level 4 labs, the playground of some of the deadliest viruses and bacteria known to man. Linda would be stuffed into her yellow spacesuit, cut off from the world and breathing dry air delivered from a respirator hose that snaked down from the ceiling. James put his thumb on the pad next to the doors and waited for them to slide apart. A rush of cool air swirled by him. He stood there enjoying the welcome temperature difference of the building's air conditioning. A burly security guard named Ed greeted him. James waved as he passed by. "Good morning." James made his way to the expensive commons area which served as a cafeteria, meeting hall, and occasional holiday party place. The commons took up a good portion of the east side of the pyramid, therefore. One side of the room consisted of a giant slanting wall of glass. The view was gorgeous, second only to Dr. Westman's private office on the top floor. Opposite was the kitchen and buffet, where employees could get breakfast, lunch, and dinner 6 days a week. At one end of the commons was a stage and podium where presentations were held. James looked out over the emerald expanse. In the distance above the foothills, dark clouds rolled above the treetops. The commons slowly grew dark as the clouds crept in front of the sun. "What the hell are you doing here?" James jumped in surprise. He turned around and shook his head. "Dr. Parody, you scared me for a second there." The old man was bent over, leaning heavily on his cane. "I'm sorry, Samantha. I thought you looked like this man named James, who I specifically told not to come to work this week." James tried to think, not wanting to give away any information about his recent discovery. "I bet you came up here for a free lunch, didn't you, you cheapskate?" "Yup, you got me," James replied in relief. He had forgotten about the Tuesday conference. Every week, the Commons hosted a company-wide presentation on the state of the business and new research. "Well, you might be stuck here for a little longer than a conference with this storm in its way." James shook his head. "I didn't know. Someone wouldn't let me watch the news last night. So how's your head?" "It's been better. The pain is well controlled, though." Dr. Parody squinted off in the direction of the assembling storm. "Weather is supposed to get real bad over the next couple of days." The two stood there in silence and watched the darkness grow.